Hi, this is our daily tarot. I'm in a totally different setup than usual, and there's a dog on the other side of this fence that's next to me, and he really wants me to say hello to them. Or there's a couple dogs. One is upset that I'm here, and one is really interested that I'm here. So we'll probably hear them as I'm giving today's reading. The opening card that we have for today, we actually got two cards. We got the combination of the Nine of Wands and the Five of Swords. So we have this interesting thing popping up as far as energetics today, because we're being faced with how what we put our attention on mentally and conversation wise is an option for us, and it's an opportunity for us to learn from past mistakes and situations where perhaps somewhere that we got triggered kind of stole our energy and took us away from our own power. So if you remember yesterday, we had the Ace of Wands, and we also had the Nine of Wands, which is showing up as our beginning card today, strangely enough. And so we are getting this opportunity today to work with this energy of, if a conversation comes up or some idea or way that we're thinking comes up that is kind of stealing our energy, it's showing us that we have the option on whether or not we want to pick it up and deal with it or not. Because ultimately, the Five of Swords is telling us that we have this choice, right? Like, how do we want to work with our own will, and how do we want to engage it? The challenge that we have that's showing up today is the Hierophant, which is a major arcana card, and this is showing the challenge of what's going on in society and the restrictions that we're being faced with, and perhaps how that could be triggering us in a lot of ways. Now, consider that the Hierophant is ruled by Taurus, and right now we have Uranus in Taurus. It's been in Taurus for a couple of years, showing us and bringing about change in areas that were preventing us from going toward visions and dreams that we really wanted to, and it was creating all of this change in areas that we felt stable in so that we would get these opportunities. But this is a challenge to us, right? Because it's all in how we look at things and how we value the situation, because ultimately this is, as I said, governed by Taurus, which means that it's about our values and our evaluation of a situation. And that is the challenge that we're working with today. Now, how we're going to get through that challenge showed up as another major arcana, and this is the Lover's card. And this card is governed by Mercury, which is how we see the world, how we talk about the world, how we engage and talk to one another in a form of exchange. And so we get this opportunity today, quite literally, to see how we engage, how we exchange, and we get a choice in this way as well, as far as what drives you to engage, what drives your ideas, what drives and anchors our thoughts, and how do we manage it, and how do we have some kind of what's the word that I'm looking for? Like separation from it. Because consider, it's so interesting, you guys. The ultimate outcome that we have for today is the Judgment card. We have Mercury and Pluto in conjunction right now, which is basically these two guards combined. And so how we're seeing things, how we communicate about things, how we are describing our situation is ultimately being transformed. Like, if we consider that we've been like living in a box in a lot of ways, like living in this kind of darkened viewpoint of how we've been seeing this change and all of these shifts in our lives and in the whole global situation, we're being called to task, right? Like, if you look at how things have, like how historically there have been huge shifts and changes by way of revolution or like big societal shifts, it's ironically always happened when there's this like relationship between Pluto and Uranus. And if we consider the people that lived in those times and how people engaged with their situation, how do you think they engaged in a way that best served them? Like, did they walk around their neighborhood screaming, the sky is falling, and it's everyone's fault but mine? And or did they walk around their neighborhood and see if anybody needed help? Or did they walk around their neighborhood and plant flowers? Or, you know, what is calling you out of that darkness that you've been living in and I've been living in? And as much as we want to say that it's society, right? It's society, it's this outer world that's bringing me down. Ultimately, we have the choice. We have the choice in what we want to engage in. And if we engage in things that bring us down, or if we engage in things that help not only ourselves, but also the community that we're in, and, you know, start rebuilding something, because we have to start rebuilding something today, you know, rather than, you know, losing all of our energy to things that we've already seen don't do us any good. So that is the reading for today. I know I'm in a different environment than I usually am. These dogs are very interested in what I'm doing over here, but that's okay. I'll be out of their space soon. I hope you have a blessed day, and I wish you well. And I just want to remind you that we are being called out of that darkness, and you know, it's up to us and how we show up. Because life isn't worth living inside darkness, but if we keep, you know, painting the darkness all around us, then how can anyone else convince us that there's anything outside of this box we're living in? Especially when the box we're living in is the box of the mind. I love you, and I wish you well, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Mwah.